And greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 666, take like 5,000 for us. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast.
Greetings and welcome.
Oh, I got it now. Audio's good. Joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Yeah, Tony and Corey are off, and Tony usually does the recording, so this is just Mike and myself tonight. I apologize for the audio difficulties, and now I got audio coming through everything. So I do apologize for the audio start, but now we should have audio going, and Mike's here. It's just him and I. We're two-manning this podcast. Mike, how you been?
All right.
Great. Once again, guys, we are live on Twitch starting on Tuesday nights, starting at 8 o'clock, and you can join us and watch this debacle to start. But it's a lot of fun. Please join us live. If you don't get on live, we do have our episodes are always on YouTube the following day, so you can subscribe to that channel and then pop over there if you do miss these live, and subscribe to both so you get notified when we go live and when we have the posts on YouTube. So, all right, guys, this is the movie cast, and Mike, it's just two of us. So, what have you been watching?
Well, unfortunately, I realized that I said last week I was going to try to see the Turtles movie, the Mutant Mayhem one, but didn't realize that Paramount Plus was doing the Netflix crackdown thing. So I don't really have access to it. My brother is the one who watches that mostly, so I'm like, I'm not doing that for that. So I didn't really watch anything. Other than that Naked People show on HBO Max. We watched for some reason. It was funny.
Okay.
You know that one? Naked Attraction? Where
No.
the contestant comes out and like they just see like 5 different people and they're all naked, and you see like the bottom half first, then the middle, and then their face. Mm-hmm. They choose who to date.
Okay. That's weird. Very weird.
That's all we watched because it was funny.
Well, I mean, I watched Ahsoka, obviously, so I watched that last week, and it was a good episode. I have to say, we got our first look at more Rebels characters to keep it vague for those wondering what's going on. But I mean, it's no secret that Thrawn's in this show, so we got our first look of Grand Admiral Thrawn essentially, he's let himself go over these years. Who plays him? I forget. Mads Mikkelsen. I forget who plays him, but it's not him. Who is that? It's oh my god, I'm gonna drive me crazy. But we don't have Corey to live do this while I'm doing this, but. Yeah, so the guy who plays him is the voice actor from Rebels, and so the voice is spot on for the character, and he looks kind of like a blue Elon Musk, but it's kind of hilarious, but it works, it's good. He's kind of imposing, which is great, and then we also get a character coming back from Rebels that we haven't seen in a long time, so that was good. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. I do wonder how they're again going to give us some story out of the next 2, unless they know they're doing more than one season, which I don't remember if they confirmed that yet. I really hope that my hope, and this is no spoilers for those wondering because I don't know what's happening. My hope is that the show ends with them losing. I really hope that Thrawn makes the jump to join the galaxy, and that's how the next season goes into it, kind of thing. I really hope they start with it losing. That would be a great way to start this series off. Other than that, I watched a show called The Foundation, which is on Apple TV Plus, and I can't say it's super actiony. It's very math based. So basically, it's all numbers. So basically, the premise of the show is there's a mathematician who's like, it's all happening in space. It's futuristic, kind of like Dune, a little bit like Dune, with like there's an empire, and the empire is 3 people. It's Dawn, which is a little kid, Day, and then Dusk, and they age. Each 3 of them rule, and one's a kid, one's a like middle-aged man, and one's an old guy, and it's about them ruling for the last I forget how long. It's like 12,000 years or something like that. Well, this mathematician through numbers has predicted the fall of the empire, that their whole empire is going to crumble within the next 500 years. And they don't want to accept that. They're very much like Romans in this, those guys. The empire is very much like the Roman ancient Rome. Very much like that, these guys. But it's futuristic, obviously, with like high-powered weapons and everything like that, and spaceships. So I don't know how this is going to go. It's got some action in it. It's got some jump scenes. It looks fantastic. But I can't say it's like super like holy crap actiony. Like it's actually good, but it's not like, don't look for something like you're going to have a gunfight every other scene. It's a lot of conversation and a lot of like Game of Thrones meets Dune meets Starship Troopers kind of thing, I guess the best way to say it. Like every now and again there's a fight and it's crazy, and then but there's a lot of Game of Thrones-esque stuff that's in space. That's the best way to say it. With Dune has the same idea as that though. So I am enjoying it. I'm like 3 episodes in already, and they're now over an hour long each episode. So it's pretty dedicated. It's not like a 20-minute pop off here. But so I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and it's excuse me. It's good. Hopefully it continues on. It's got 2 seasons, so we'll see. So I gotta take a drink here. Got a little bit of a dry throat tonight, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty much it for what we've been up to, Mike. I'm gonna have to open this up on my phone here because I don't want to screw up the stream. Box Office Mojo. How are we looking at the box office today? Or this weekend?
Huh?
Well, let's see. What was it? The 22nd weekend. So we had The Nun.
It's a bomb.
Okay. Tony just popped in. Yeah, it's a bomb. There's nothing good in the box office here.
Expendables 4 bombed, I think.
Barbie's still at number 5. So The Nun 2, Expendables 4 bombed.
That's what bombed.
Yeah.
Who's even in that anymore?
I don't know. Who's
so wait. I think I saw a commercial where Megan Fox was in it. Fox getting a little flack for her role in a different thing.
Yeah. Tony, are you in the chat here? Are you going to be chatting or what?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. My sister's flight was delayed, so I'm just sitting here until their airport taxis in, so
okay.
I could be on for a little bit.
I think I heard Corey at some point in here. Is he in here?
I don't think so. I didn't see the logo come up.
I thought he popped in, but all right. Well, yeah. So it was a bomb, and yeah, Churro chiming in. Thank you, Churro. Are there good movies right now? No, there's really not. I mean, Barbie. That's it. So, and Barbie's on digital, so you can just watch it at home. So the box office is. That's why I canceled my AMC stubs. So, all right. Let's see what we've got here. Let's get into some news. I gotta open up the news. Sorry, I'm a little out of sorts right now with doing all this on my computer. So here we go. Let's see, news of the week. Let's talk about how about the fact that the writer's strike is over.
Is it over?
Tentatively, yes. So they have to ratify the agreement, correct? It's got to be like combed through, make sure that it looks exactly what they agreed upon is in there, and then they'll sign off on it. So it sounds like they have an agreement in place. They just need to make sure what they agreed upon is actually in the writing.
So basically a lot of lawyer combing through and stuff for like probably a week or 2 or something like that. But
yeah, that's it. So it sounds like that's good. It sounds like the actors are close to follow shortly.
Yeah, the cool thing is that the writers actually said that their signing of this has to be in conjunction with the Actors Guild because they want to stand in solidarity with them.
Oh, good.
Which I thought was a classy move.
Okay. That's awesome. I didn't know that actors were going to support the writers like that. But it's good to see that the writers are going out and getting their deal first. And I really thought the actors would end first before the writers. That's really what I thought would happen.
I mean, they came in second.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that, it's shocking.
Well,
I really thought that.
From a logical perspective, it doesn't make sense for the actors to end before the writers do, right? Like, what they just look bad. Like, if you're an actor, it's like, yeah, we can end the strike, but the writers are still going. So, like, what are you supposed to do, right?
Yeah. So now
the actors will always look worse because we expect that they're rich and famous.
I mean, you got to wonder
how it's the directors actually that look bad because they didn't fucking care about anything. They just were like, okay, we're cool.
A lot of them wanted to film stuff anyways. They were working on things without the writers or the actors available. Doing principal photography.
Doing
what?
Wrestling doesn't fall under either of this. Apparently, It's been going on.
No, wrestling is contracted based on each employee is a contracted employee. So
right, because wrestling's its own entity, right? Like they don't.
They're independent contractors. That's what they are. They're not part of the guild.
And that's why you see like The Rock and John Cena coming back because it's like they can't do anything else.
Yeah, you know what's cool about? I did watch The Rock. He was on Pat McAfee's show last week, and he had said that the acting part of it is not really interfering with his filming for Raw, like WWE. It's more about the fact that he just doesn't like any of the storylines he was presented with, and he thought it wasn't why come back. So I do think his busy schedule has to do a little bit with it, but it's not about him worrying about being injured, because he was talking about a match he had with John Cena, nonetheless, where he tore his abdomen muscle, and he had to go and shoot Hercules right after that, and he just shot it anyways in pain, and they didn't get the surgery until after they finished shooting the movie. It was a pretty impressive story. Nobody ever heard this until that show. He broke that news. It's pretty impressive. He got slammed to the mat and felt something. He's like, oh, that doesn't feel right. And then he went to get up, and he's like, I just felt the most excruciating pain in my stomach. And so he went and did the whole match, found out he had a torn abdomen, and then went and shot Hercules for 6 weeks, and then got the surgery. So I'll give him some credit. So I don't know how much it's going to interfere if they want to bring him back. But anyways, that's a little side bit for the wrestling fans out there. Other news, because the writers ended, we started getting some news back, obviously. And what do we think? The Office. I got Tony on the call. This is perfect, Tony. You're still here. Yep. The Office reboot. I was hoping you'd be here because Mike's not a big Office guy. So it's like, at least I have somebody else to converse with here about.
I watch it, but it's not like my show.
Do we want a reboot? Even Greg Daniels is the showrunner. Don't forget. So that's good. But do we want a reboot? You know?
I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't want a reboot. Like, if they're using the same characters and everything like that, no, I'm not about that. Mm-hmm. If they just want to make a new, like, Office show that just isn't, like, a different setting, that's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if it'll be like a soft
reaction is the opposite.
You don't want it at all?
Oh, I would say if they would do a reboot, how many years has the show been off the air? Like 8 years, 9 years?
2012 or 2013? Probably 10 years by now.
11, 10 years. I don't know. I would think you would not do like a super hard reboot. You would like more of a spin-off or something.
I was thinking
characters.
I was thinking there are a lot of actors that were on The Office that would love to continue on and come back for their characters. So I think like maybe you do a soft reboot with some of those characters coming back and some new cast mixed in.
No, they tried that with Joey. It didn't work.
That's what I think that they're going to try. I really do think that's what we're going to get. I just
don't see them like redoing the concept again.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I feel like why do a reboot?
All you got to do is a mockumentary. Like, Mike, weren't you just talking about that one jury show or whatever?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It doesn't need to be called The Office.
Well, no, right, but they could use the name. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. The concept isn't unique. It's just mockumentary, right?
Another mockumentary with a different office. Yeah, that could move around, but and you're right, that would work. Because in my head, I'm thinking, how are you going to replace Michael Scott? And then before that, it was how are you going to replace the UK Office guy. David Brent.
I don't know his name.
So
Character.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it can be done, and Greg Daniels is very good at what he does with shows. So that's got some optimism there. So we'll see.
I mean, again, like I don't know, at Parks and Rec, it's similar sort of conceit that they did like almost in tandem with The Office.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just naming it like a full reboot of The Office just seems odd if you're not going to like continue any of the characters. If you could just make something like, with less expectations, but I don't know.
I really do think that they will bring back some of that cast. I just know that like I listen to Office Ladies podcast and they always interview them and they're always like, a lot of them are still talking about their own show. The guy who played the big dumb guy, Kevin. The guy who played Kevin has his own podcast where he talks about all the stuff that happened on the show. He loves talking about the show. So I could see them wanting to come back for some of this. And I understand they tried it with Joey and stuff like that, but I get it. But it's like, it might work with Greg Daniels running this. That's all.
Yeah, and a lot of them were like barely actors or...
Yeah.
That was their only thing and still continues to be, so...
I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, I think so many of the characters, as they ended, were just way too spread out in terms of like where they were going, right? Not to mention, I think, there's two parts. Like from a viewer standpoint, I think it would be a hard sell if like it's like, hey, we got like Angela and like Kevin and Oscar, but nobody else. It'd be like, well, that's weird, right? But also from a I don't know, like a bystander perspective, like all these actors are going to command way higher premiums for a show now, right? Like they're not going to take the salaries they were, they started out
Yeah.
office, right?
Yeah.
Before it was a surefire hit.
Yep.
I mean, I don't expect Steve Carell.
No.
Ed Helms.
No, absolutely not. They would never do that. He would never do that again.
No, he's good. That's why he left. He was content with what he did. So.
Although give him another like 10 or 20 years, and he'll do a Kelsey Grammer.
You know what's crazy is John
Come back by
Krasinski.
himself.
Do you think John Krasinski would come back?
I mean, he seems down for
but I do think he's down for that. But it's just like he's so big, like popular. I mean, is he that big? I guess, but,
right?
Yeah.
Well, so like the thing is like, right, the show ended with him having that sports company, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if the sequel to Office was him running that company, right? Now, whatever. That could be something, right?
That could be something.
But
yeah.
like, maybe that. But like I'm saying, like you have to get the right X factor, right? Like people, I think, would come back for Jim and Dwight, and anybody else is kind of just ancillary, right?
Correct. There was more supporting cast. They didn't really have their own. They couldn't run the show on their own. Those two could. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, all right.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
We'll see.
All right. Let's see. We've got Hugh Jackman news coming out. This has been a leaker. This is a known leaker that's been right about a lot of stuff. So Hugh Jackman won't be recast until after Secret Wars. So we have a Wolverine. He will be Wolverine for a few cameo movie appearances, not just Deadpool 3.
And this is just seems to me like everything that was sort of teased for Deadpool is now going to be pushed into this other movie.
It seems like Deadpool's going to bring that in, and then this is like a sequel to Deadpool, Secret Wars.
I guess. I don't know.
It's everything I'm reading about the Secret Wars movie. It's going to be closure for like every single universe that has ever existed in the comic book universe.
They all closed themselves already. Like
I don't know. We'll see where that ends up.
Pretty arrogant.
That's a lot. That's a lot of movie. That's probably going to be a 2-parter.
They didn't close themselves up. What are you talking like No Way Home? Like we still were getting Tobey and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man with undisclosed.
I understand that, and part of the reason why that was good, especially for Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, is that you had no closure with that character because he got cut off after the second installment that clearly was meant to have a sequel and bad. And also Spider-Man. So see how I think Tobey Maguire's version also ended badly, so they I could see how they both kind of needed a little more they could have more closure. Like Logan exists for X-Men and so does Days of Future Past. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of all this. Is it going to work? I have no idea, but I love the idea of it. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see all these characters, even like the shitty movie characters, like the bad Fantastic Four. Get them on the screen. I think it'd be awesome. Even if it's for like 5 seconds, getting them killed. It's kind of a cool thing to have.
If this is what we need to finally fucking get rid of like all that baggage, then okay. So
sure. But again, going back to your same comment on our Discord chat, Tony, it better be better than what they did with The Flash, because that just didn't work. And
they weren't really there.
That was a creative decision from the director, but that didn't work. I'm sorry. Those cameos didn't work. That was disrespectful to the characters that are still around and the characters that weren't. I just feel like all of that was not well done at all. So, but you don't feel. I'm not starting something. Never mind. I'm not starting anything, Mike.
I mean, I just thought it looked ugly. I didn't care about it. Like I wasn't offended by it.
I mean, I just feel like it should have been way better for what they were trying to do. But whatever. All right. Oh, let's continue on about comic book movies. Martin Scorsese loves them. That's not true. Big shock here. An old man getting angry, saying that
old man yells at cloud.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese came out saying that he hates the fact that comic book movies exist because it's skewing a perception of the newest generation of people, like to think that's what a movie is, and it's ridiculous.
Franchise movies
and franchise movies. Yes.
Fast and Furious and whatnot.
Yeah. He feels like he said that he hates that. Go out and see actual films. That's what I think he ended the comment with. So, I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's an old man. He's going to speak his mind at this point, I think. but that doesn't make it right.
I mean,
It's
he's
just
also right, but it's fine.
I don't think so. Do you think gives the perception of what you're expecting going to the movies now?
Yeah.
I
You guys have like even said like passively is like, oh, why does this matter? Because you're trained to think everything needs to tie into something else. Like there can't be a one-off movie anymore. So I think I think it does. It has done that a little bit. That's also where we're at, where it's either like a big budget giant thing that is part of a franchise, or thing in the middle anymore, just
yeah.
something very tiny, and that's part of it.
I mean, that's just a victim of capitalism, though. I mean, like, you're not getting that mid-tier movies.
Sure,
It's
but it
just like the
wasn't
game
always
industry.
like
You're not
this.
getting the. Nobody's going to invest $100 million plus into something that's unproven, right? Like even the proven stuff or things that do it. Like we just mentioned, The Fly. Like that came out and had one of the most expensive budgets and absolutely bombed. Didn't even make it's what, half of what it cost or something like that. So
Yes.
it's just like
It was the biggest flop of the year.
It's the biggest flop.
Biggest flop of all time, I believe.
Or because everyone didn't see how it was tying into everything else.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. So it's not like every comic book movie is guaranteed success. It still has to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Sure, but I think what his issue is really is the whole everything is part of a franchise and has to tie together to something, and how you can't have just sort of a one-off.
But we do. We have those.
Do we?
The biggest movie of the year is Barbie.
Sure, and that's
it's
been the exception.
It's gonna get a sequel, but there's no question. But it's not gonna be like a one-off movie. But it's not a. I don't know. I feel like there are some great films that are by themselves and they work and they're fantastic. I don't need to have a universe.
Obviously, is he brings up Nolan as the only one who can do these sort of more singular artistic movies. And everyone would be like, oh, but he did Batman. It's like, yeah, well, that was a while ago, but he's also done other stuff.
Sure. So, I don't know. But it is what it is on that. That's pretty much it for movie news. We do have a lot of gaming stuff to get into for the Gamecast, though. So I have some conversation pieces to get into. So let's put a pin on this one. Let's end this one. That's the end of the Moviecast, folks. So thanks for tuning in for this. Once again, we're on Twitch streaming live at 8 o'clock. The Gamecast is always after, so please join us there. If you miss us live or on YouTube, subscribe to both channels so you get the latest and greatest. That's going to wrap it up here. We are out until the Gamecast comes up. See you in a couple minutes.